Hello everybody, what you're looking at is a kind of a jigsaw, I suppose, of our school badge. And yeah, so it makes a kind of a puzzle. And what you're about to do is you're about to put your lovely little faces all over it. So each of these pieces of paper that you can see below are going to be cut up into little squares, and you're going to draw your face on it. And that's every child in the school is going to have their face on the school badge. So here's how one of the sheets looks like from the puzzle that makes up the school badge. So as you can see, there's the bottom of the badge and the date the school was founded, 1938. Turn it over. It's full of squares and numbers. So basically what's going to happen is an adult will cut out all these squares and you'll be given one each. So you can see you're going to end up with a tiny space on which to do your portrait. Okay, so you'll be given your square, and then you will need these things. So you'll have your square. Here's an example here. It's the top of the 9 from 1938 and the bottom of, I think, the S from BPJS. You're gonna have this, which is a template for getting the proportions of the face correct, if you want to use that. You're probably going to need a rubber, maybe a pencil sharpener. An ordinary pencil, normally I'd say use a sketching pencil, but they can be a bit smudgy. It's only such a tiny space that a normal pencil's fine. And then you're going to need some colouring pencils, but no black, okay? If black is there, get rid of it, no black. In fact, if there are any pens at all on the table, they need to come off the table, so you're not tempted to use any pens at all. You might say to your teacher, can we use felt pens? No, you can't. It's pencil only, okay? Has to be pencil only. Whole school needs to be doing the same things, using the same materials if it's going to work. Okay, and you'll have a sheet like this, which has lots of doodle ideas for the background. Okay. So your piece of the jigsaw really is very small. As you can see, you've got a rule against it here. It measures just 6.5 centimeters square. So that is really small. Okay, so if you would like to, you're welcome to use this. And this will help you to put, have the head the right shape and put the features of the face, eyes, nostrils and lips in the right places. So what we've got here is that little line there is for the hairline. That means where your hair starts. Hair doesn't start on the top of your head. It starts some way down your head here. We've got eyebrows, eyes there. Of course, you've got to put the pupils in and the irises. We've got the ears. You need to also put the ear holes in there. We've got nostrils. You can add a bit more detail to the nose if you want, but you don't have to. And then we've got the lips. This line here, the longer one, is where the lips meet. And that line shows you where the bottom lip, how far that might go, and where the top lip might go. Yeah, your lips come in different shapes and sizes. Yours might be bigger, they might be thinner. Yeah, same for the shape of the face. You might need to change the shape of yours. But yeah, if you choose to use this then, and it would help, especially if you've got other things on yours like this. Some of you will end up having a blank one like that, that's just got colour on it. And you might think, well, I'll just draw my portrait straight onto that. But that might be a bit tricky when you've got other things on there, so it can be a bit confusing. So yeah, if you choose to use one of these, your first job is to shade over the back of it. So you're going to put your pencil on the side like that, and you're just shading over the area where the lines are on the other side. So I don't need to shade in the whole thing. And if I'm not sure if I've shaded over all the bits I need to, what you do is you'd hold it up to the light, just hold it up to the window, something like that, and you'll be able to see through it, and you'll be able to see if you've got it all in the right place. So I've got a light here, I can just see, yeah, just off the camera, but I can see that I've got it right. Okay, all right, and then you've got to make sure that you've got your bit of the jigsaw, you've got it the right way round. You'll know it's the right way round if the number on the back is the right way up. If the number on the back is on its side, that's wrong. If it's upside down, it's wrong. If it's on that side, it's wrong. If it's the right way up, it's right. Okay, so then you flip it over if it's the right way up. Okay, there you go. And that's how you'll know you've got it the right way round. Okay, and so even better for this bit if you've got a paper clip, so you'd have to ask your teachers for one of those. But if not, just line up one of the corners, and then line up one of the other corners, and then all we're going to do is press down quite hard and trace over what we've got there. I'm going to peel it back to check it's going on. It is. I'm getting a very faint outline. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. Okay, I'm keeping my fingers on it. I'm just going to peel it back to check I've done everything. And if everything's dark enough. So as you can see, it's come out very faint, but that's good. We just want to make sure that we can see all the things that we need to see. So I've gone over the eyes a bit stronger to make them stand out a bit more. So I'm going to pretend that I've got my photo and it's just off camera, okay? And then I'm going to get started. All right, so I'm going to start with the eyes, okay? So I'm just loosely going to go over the shapes that are already there. So you can see it's confusing with this shape here of the 9 there, that reddish pinkish shape. And that's why it's been good to use this to help me, you see. Okay, so I'm going to put in pupil first and then the iris around it. So pupil and the iris around it. Going to get the eyebrows in. And you have to be looking very carefully at the picture of you. So obviously this one looks nothing like you. It's just helping you put the features in the right place. So it might be, for example, that there's a bit more features of the nose for you. Maybe you can see the nostrils. I don't like to draw any lines going up here because there are no lines on your face going up here. Where the lips are, then I'm going to change it. I'm going to turn it upwards a bit and turn it into a bit of a smile. There you go. You could have an open mouth if you want. Okay, and the hairline was there. So the ears are here. Now, only draw the ears if you can see the ears. If you can't see them, no need to draw them. Right, I'm going to draw them in a moment, but what I'm going to do first is I'm going to change the shape of the face. So this shape of this face, it doesn't fit with the shape of the face that I'm looking at in front of me. So the chin is a bit more pronounced, see? So you might change the shape of it a little bit. I've not made the face longer, I've just changed the shape of the chin. Okay, and for the ears, all you want to do with the ears is put a line for kind of like the top of the ear there, and just put a dark bit where your ear hole would be. That'll do. Okay, and then I'm just going to loosely sketch in the neck. Okay, so let's say I'm happy with that. I'm going to put a bit of the cheeks in. If I'm smiling, you might see a bit of the cheeks. There we go. Or if this person is smiling, a bit more with the eyebrows. And I'm always looking closely at the photo. Okay, you can't see the photo I've got, and I'm just imagining that there's one there. Next, with the hair then. So look very closely at your hair. But if you've got, especially if you've got long hair, what you might choose to do with your hair is you might choose to make it go a bit wilder, as if it's being blown by the wind. If you've got long hair. Because part of what we're doing for the background is some doodle patterns, and long hair could make its own kind of patterns, couldn't it? So if you've got long hair, you could have a bit of fun with the hair if you want. or you could leave the hair as it is. Okay, so once I'm happy with that, and you'll notice I've done sketchy lines, I haven't pressed really hard. Once I've done that, I want to add a bit of colour. Now it's important that, so you can see some red here and blue and yellow, it's important that that still shows through, okay? So I'm going to start by using, I'm going to go over some blue bits. I'm going to leave the face alone to begin with, and then see how it looks. I'm going to start by adding some darker blue to the hair. I might start off dark and do a graded tone and go lighter. See, go dark. Okay, next then, I'm gonna have a go at doing some doodles with it, okay? So I'm gonna bring in some of these doodle patterns then. And you might have your own ideas for doodle patterns, but I'm just using what's here. I'm not using my normal pencil. I'm gonna stick with colours for this. Now, because most of this is blue, I want to make sure that most of it stays blue. So I'm gonna start. Well, I think I like this pattern here. I'm gonna start with something like this. So all I'm gonna do, I've got painty fingers, as you can probably see there. Sorry about that. Oops. So I'm not going over the features of the face. I'm just doing in the background. Okay, and then up at the top, I'm going to switch blues. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to go to an orange because it's going over the yellow, and I want to stick with those warm colours. But you can choose. And then up here, I'm going to do some circles, I think. Different shapes, different sizes, and some around here. And then I'm just going to start to shade in a few of those things. Okay, in fact, on this side, I will shade in the gaps. Even though I'm colouring it all in red, I can still see enough blue. And if you look at the whole thing, I can still see that yellow shape that we started with. I can still see this red shape. And that's important because they're all parts of the jigsaw puzzle, you see. We don't want to get rid of any shapes that are already there. We still want to be able to see them. Okay, so I've been in between those. I'll get a green now, and I'll just shade in some of those bits. And as you can see, the whole thing doesn't really take that long, does it? Now that I've started shading the background, I can see that the hair doesn't stand out very well anymore. So I'm going to get a darker colour, which is purple, and make the hair stand out a bit more. I'm going to go over the lines of the hair there, make them stand out a bit. And of course, if you don't have long hair, and you want to give yourself long hair, why not? You can. Okay, so yeah, the hair stands out a bit more now. I need to add a little bit of colour over here. I'm going to go in with a bit of orange. In fact, I could do a different colour. I could treat that like a rainbow, couldn't I? Just do a different colour for each one. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to colour over that bit of red there because I know it needs to stand out, so I'm not going to. And here. A purple one. Okay, now you might choose to leave it there. We've done the main things, which is we have drawn in the features of the face. We've changed the features of the face slightly from the traced version. because we wanted to try and make it look a bit more like the picture of ourselves. So I changed the chin, I changed the lips, I changed the nose a bit. I filled in the details with the eyes and also with the ears. And then we moved on to the hair. I made the hair a bit more kind of wild and rainbow coloured. And then we did some doodles using our sheet here for inspiration, or making up our own doodles in the background. So we've got some background shapes. I've left the neck as it is. You might choose to add a bit of colour to your neck. You might choose to add some doodles to it. That's up to you. You can do that. That would work. Because it's blue, I'm going to add a little bit of blue here. And it just pushes the face forward a little bit, as you can see. Yeah, especially if you do it much darker underneath the chin like that. And then let it fade so it gets lighter. And it pushes the face forward. All right, I think that's great like that. You don't need to add colour to your face. I think it's more effective if you don't. But on the next one, we will add colour and see what that's like. All right then, so again, imagine I'm looking at my photo and you just can't see it on the camera, and I'm looking very closely at the shape of the eyes. Start with the eyes first. Oh, do you know what? I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a closed eye. I'm going to rub out one eye. Inspired by Carl in 6L, who, when I worked with 6L in Arts Week, he did one eye closed, like he was winking. So there you go. Do one eye closed. I'm looking very closely at the eyelashes there. Now I'm going to start on the hair with that, and I'm going to use red. And I'm just looking to put kind of patterns into the hair that follow the way the hair goes. There you go, so I've got kind of stripy patterns in there. All right, that looks okay to me. And then once again, I get my doodle sheets, or I make up my own doodles and start to doodle the background. And remember, we still want the overall impression to be that we can still see the shape of the bee on this one, that yellow bee for BPJS. If we can't, then it won't look right when it's all put together. So I have to be careful. You see, there's the edge of the bee. Next colour I picked was purple. I'm not going to go over the edge of the bee with that purple because I want that to still stand out. I'm going to use pink next. Right, so we'll add some colour to the face on this one. You might have some skin tones like these ones here, but you don't have to use normal skin tones. I mean, look, I've gone bright red with the hair there. So yeah, you could have fun with it and use something different. The important thing is to not use something really dark and press really hard with it. So I'm also going to look at where the shadows are. So around the eyes. It's always a little bit dark around the eyes. So I've gone in with orange. There we go. And around the edges of the nose there. And suddenly you'll see it starts to look like a nose coming forward. And then underneath the nose can be quite dark. The lips themselves and underneath will also be dark. And then underneath the chin, as we did in the last one, that can be dark. I've just used one colour there, and it's less confusing. Basically, it'll be easier for you if you just use one colour. I've left the nose untouched, and I've left the cheeks untouched there, and I've left parts of the chin untouched. Okay, so that's that example. It's only half finished, I would, the only other thing I would do, of course, would be to finish off with doodles on this left side here. So on the face, you could add a little bit of colour, but I would just make a bit of colour. Don't add doodles to the face. The moment you do that, it's just not a face anymore. It doesn't look like a face. Okay, and we've made sure that the letter B is still standing out. If it's not, then don't worry about it. We'll be able to work it back in, maybe with a bit of outlining of it or something like that, for example. Right, here's one last example that I tried. I tried to have the mouth open there. I don't think it works so well. I did a little bit of shading on the face. To be honest, I think it works better like that one without shading on the face. But that's just my opinion. And with the hair, I kind of just went and did some lines. And then with a kind of a ponytail here, I just carried on the same shape going over and over and again all the way around. So you don't have to do lots of different doodles. It could be the same one. I went for a doodle on the neck as well. You might choose to draw parts of your school uniform there. That's entirely up to you. Yeah, and so there you go. The main things to remember then are we still want, if you've got any shapes already on yours, like we had the B on this one, didn't we? We had a red shape on this one here, and we had a yellow shape there. Make sure we can still see those, please. You can, be very creative with the hair. I think it looks more effective if you don't put any shade in at all on the face. You just leave the features of the face as they are. You need to look closely at your photograph of yourself to get the shape of the eyes, just how you want the shape of your nose. Might be wider or it might be narrower. The shape of your lips, do you want them to be smiling? Do you want it to be a straight face? Do you want the mouth open? It's entirely up to you. Do you want one eye open, one eye closed? That also is up to you. You have to think about that when the photo gets taken. And use your doodle sheet or make up your own doodles. So the background, remember, no black pencil and no pen anywhere. This is all done in pencil, the whole lot. You need to choose whether you use this on yours or not. I think you'll find it easier if you do, but it's entirely up to you. Right, have fun with it. It's going to be amazing.